Do your landings look or feel like this? Well, I'm here to say that's not a bug, that's just incorrect crosswind input, especially with this new flight model. You're going to be using your rudder and ailerons a lot. So let's get into the video and I'll show you guys how to land this airplane as we do in real life in crosswind conditions. Alright guys, welcome back to another video. I'm your SimCFI, which means I'm your flight instructor for any similar purposes. Your request to Microsoft P3DCS, leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to answer the best I can. In saying that, I'm also a real RJ pilot, fly the RJ 900s. If you have questions on the CRJ specifically, or flying in real life as well, you can leave a comment down below on that, and I'll be able to answer as best I can. So, there we talk about crosswind landings in the new updated flight model. The flight model that I'm using in this video is beta, so if you're watching this video, the updates come out and you probably have a more polished version, but we're going to be doing a very quick tutorial on the crosswind landing, so I'll probably skip ahead to we're a bit closer to the runway. But the key to this is aileron input and rudder input. So you saw that in that replay we landed kind of crooked, we're kind of crabbed, and we never decrabbed the airplane, we never realigned our nose with the center line. That's half the puzzle piece. The second part of the puzzle piece there is the aileron input. So I'm going to unpause very quickly and we'll talk about this. So we're paused and I've let the airplane naturally weather vane into the wind there, and we're landing at 2 left, as you can see in front. We have quite a significant crab angle, so this is fine. This is more than fine. The max crosswind landing on a CRJ 900 for an RCC 6 runway is 35 knots at a 90-degree angle. That's the max crosswind. So it's quite significant. This is only 22 from the right. So what we're doing is we're steering into the wind. You can see the wind is from the right, it's coming from there, and it's going that way. So we have to steer into the wind in order to actually go along the ground that way. However, once we get closer to the runway, we're going to add left rudder pedal to align our nose back with the runway. When you do that, some interesting physics happen with the airplane. Let's go ahead and get a bit lower, and I'll talk about it when we get down there. Okay, so here we are all nice and paused, and I'm just in the slew mode, so I'm able to show you guys what I'm going to be talking about. But right now, we're still looking good. We're about maybe 50 feet above the ground. We're going to add that rudder between 20 and 10 feet. So we're going to just add that rudder right near the end to just realign the nose. You don't want to do it too early, as if you do it too early, you give the chance of the wind to push you and kind of keep you floating around and push you off center. So we're just going to flare, rudder, aileron, and hit the ground at a nice kind of rate. We're not looking for any, butter, you want to call it. We're looking for a nice firm landing in these crosswind conditions, because you just want to get it on the center line in the touchdown zone and stopped, without the wind pushing you anywhere. So let's go take a look at this from this perspective. And if I get down here, let's say we're going to go ahead and add our rudder, right, to realign ourselves. Well, what we went ahead and did when we add our rudder here, and we've done two things. One, we're having a yaw force in there, and it's also to create a little bit of a rolling movement. In this case, if we're adding left rudder, it's going to be adding a roll to the left. So we would have to have a little bit of right aileron to counter that. So you're going left rudder, left with your foot, and right with the yoke to counter that. The other thing is, if I pause here, and the gear is going to be up because of the slew there, but we've realigned our nose, and we're also holding off the pressure of the rudder with our yoke. But the other thing now is we still have that wind. Pretend from your angle you're the wind and you're coming towards the airplane. Which wing do you see first? Alright, you see this wing. So this wing's going to be getting all that wind at 20 whatever knots it is. So what's going to happen is this wing's going to produce a little bit more lift than the non-wind side. So what happens with that is this wing's going to naturally also going to want to get picked up. So you have a rudder force that's doing that rolling movement to the left as well, a little bit of roll, also yaw of course. But now with that wind, you also have a little bit of extra lift from the right wing only, so it's also going to want to pick that wing up and bring it over to the left. So you have two things kind of bringing to the left, and many more, but this is kind of the simplest way of explaining it. So when we're landing in the CRJ, we're going to add the left rudder in this case, and quite a significant amount of right aileron. You know, don't be afraid on your final to be, you know, like that in a flare, and then as you roll out, as you touch down and you start slowing down, in real life as well, we are having to go full aileron sometimes to counteract that wind. So this is basically what it would look like. We're going to have the left rudder input in and the right aileron input in. It doesn't show you because we're in a paused situation, but that's how we're going to do it. And I'll go back on final and I'll show you all in one motion. Okay, so it's time to put it all together. I've spawned myself back on 2-4 left, so during the replay you might hear a lot of don't syncs, and that happens because of the spawning myself on final part. But we're going to put it all together. So this is, this video comes with a prerequisite that you've watched my other landing technique video, where the technique is at 50 feet, our eyes look down the runway instead of looking at our aiming point. At 40 feet, we keep the descent going down to about 1,000 foot markers. At 30 feet, we're going to start reducing the thrust. At 20 feet, we're going to continue reducing thrust. It's you're kind of walking the thrust down with one motion. It's not rated idle at 30 feet, not an Airbus. Don't do that. It's one continuous motion bringing the thrust back. So 30, start reducing the thrust. 20, continue reducing the thrust. Start your flare. At 10 feet, thrust idle, continue flare, and in this case, we're going to add maybe about half rudder to the left, it's all depending on what you need, but just as a guideline, I guess, but it's all depending on what you need for that day. And right aileron to counter. We're going to be doing about, if I had to put a measurement on it, my TCI yoke, about half the travel up to the right on the aileron in this wind condition. Again, it will change depending on what you're doing. So it's a prerequisite that you've already seen my landing technique video to do what we do at 50 feet, 40 feet, 30, 20, 10, and we're just going to put it all together now. So I'll get a little closer and I'll show you on final how we do it. Alright, we're putting our fuselage right over the center line, so when we add our rudder, we'll be on the center line. We're going to add our rudder and right aileron input.
40, 30, don't sink. 20, 10.
Back the reverse into idle, walk that nose down, manual braking. I'm going to pause if I can real quick. I ended the flare like this, and as I decelerate, I'm going to add more and more and more aileron into that wind, because the ailerons get less effective as we slow down, but we still have to counter that 20 knot wind, so we're going to add more as we go. On takeoff, you start with a lot and decrease as you get faster, because the ailerons get more effective. On landing, you start with whatever you need, and you add more as you get slower. So let's watch a replay. Okay, so we'll kind of analyze this a little bit now, and you'll see that once we go here, we start that flare at, so we start the power reduction at 30 feet. Let me zoom in here so you guys can see. So 30 feet, we're going to start that power reduction. 20 feet, as we're continually moving our throttles back, and we're planning to be idle by 10, we're increasing our nose up. That's the flare right there. That's at 20. It doesn't take a lot, maybe 2 or 3 pumps of the yoke up, maybe 2 or 3, depending on each how big the pumps of yoke pressure you do. Then at 10 feet, we're going to add our rudder. The airplane's pointing at us, basically, as you can see, quite a significant crosswind. We're going to add our rudder at 10 feet, and as we're doing that, we're going to do right wing, right aileron, as we're doing that left rudder input. And it's okay if your right wheel touches first. You want the in-wind wheel touching first. At my company, we do like to have both wheels touch at the same time, even in crosswind conditions, but if your right wheel touches first, that's okay too. Just keep in mind the RJ wingtips are very close to the ground, about 6.5 feet or so. Maybe about 8, so they can strike quickly if you get a wing drop with turbulence at this point. And we hold it, and the reason we don't want to do that left rudder right aileron super high is because if we do it right here, that gives us a lot of time for the wind to just blow us off We basically want to keep that crab into that wind, that really strong wind. Decrab, touchdown. And that's about the landing attitude you'd be looking for as well. About, so what are we at? About 6 degrees nose up? Something like that. So I'll show you from this perspective here. Okay, you can see my rudder. You can see my ailerons at work. That one's up. This one's down. Right, and I just reset it there. So we'll do it one more time so you can see the ailerons and the rudder input. Pay attention to the rudder and the ailerons there. Oh, I didn't press play. That's my fault. Okay, I'll do it one more time. You guys can see the rudder and aileron input. Pay attention to the rudder and aileron input, and when they happen and what I do with them. There's the flare. And we're fighting that wind the whole way down. We're going to increase our aileron to the right as we go, and you should be able to not let go, but you should be able to reduce the rudder as you go as well. And I'll just press the pause button there. So I hope you guys liked this video, and I hope it helped you. And if it did, please leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to answer the best I can. I hope you're enjoying the new flight model, and if your landings look like the beginning one, hopefully they can start to look like mine at the end here, where the nose is straight down, the flares time nicely, there's none of that wibble wobble. I see a lot of streams and videos, people say the RJ wobbles too much. It's because your wind correction is not correct. You saw there was no wobble there. If you have the correct wind correction, the airplane flies just fine. So, hope to see you guys in the next video, and I appreciate you watching.